All right, good morning and welcome. I'm Jenny Eaton, the program coordinator for the Northland Small Business Development Center, and thank you for joining us for the fourth webinar in our five-part webinar series on our journey to learn more about AI here in spring of 2025. So I'm going to start things off by just talking a bit more about what the SBDC services are and how you can access these, and then I'll turn things over to Diane, our lead presenter today. So the Northland SBDC provides no-cost and confidential technical assistance to small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout the 7 Northeast counties of Minnesota. So we can help people in a variety of ways, from understanding finances, including cash flow and projections, describing customers, creating a business plan, and walking through the process of financing a business. We also have subject matter expert consultants available to work with clients one-on-one. They provide no-cost assistance in specific areas such as marketing, human resources, IT, QuickBooks, or bookkeeping. So if you're currently a small business owner or an entrepreneur looking to start a business, you can access our services by visiting our website at northlandsbdc.org and click the red Request for Services button. Complete the information on there, and we'll connect you with a consultant in your area that'll work with you one-on-one. So that's just a quick overview of the Northland SBDC and our services. And a priority for us in 2025 is to help business owners learn how to use AI effectively and responsibly. In addition to these 5-part AI webinar series, Northland SBDC is also hosting an in-person one-day AI conference, and that's happening on June 17th at the Black Bear Casino in Carlton. There's more information on how to register for that on our website on the trainings calendar. So today, Diane Shelton is joining us again to give us more knowledge around using AI. Diane, would you go ahead and introduce yourself and kick off our webinar?
Thank you so much for having me back. And I really enjoyed the first one on marketing. And so today we are back for more on all things Google. So today we're going to talk about AI power secrets to showing up on Google in this new digital age, because it has changed. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'll go ahead and introduce myself a little bit, a few slides down. So I want to kind of ask this question. If you guys didn't know, Google is about 90% of searches come from this. So if you guys are using Bing or any of the other ones out there, you are probably one of the minorities out there, right? But it is shifting. So if you feel like lately, I just want to kind of get a quick poll, like put a 1 if you are still doing a let me Google that, versus a 2 if you've been finding yourself leaning more into ChatGPT AI and you're asking ChatGPT more questions, right? So I know for me, I'm seeing a lot of 2s nowadays, right? So if that is you, definitely that is where, as business owners, you need to kind of take a look around this room alone, that we are making that shift. So this is why this is such a powerful conversation, that as business owners, we need to leverage that. So that is what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm really excited to dive in. And also, as business owners, let's shift the conversation. We just talked about like you as the user. And now I want to know, like, introduce yourself if you'd like. And also, do you feel like you feel like you're a business ghost when you come to Google with your business? Or B, if you feel like you're already a guru and you feel like you're here to absorb a little bit more of that, really getting some expertise in the AI space and how to pair the 2 up. So I know there's a bunch of information that we can really share with you. So I want to make sure that if you're a little bit newer, we're not getting you to fall too far behind, and explaining it a little bit. We'll save some time at the end for Q&A as well. So if you do have questions, drop it in the chat. We'll make sure to get that as well towards the end. We'll make sure to go back to your questions, okay? So this is what we'll cover. I love that some of you guys are AB, because definitely there's always something to learn, right? So what we'll cover, we'll start with the why. I love starting with the why because I feel like we really want to make sure we have a level set of understanding why it matters for Google if you're a business owner. And I want to also compare the old way so that we can bring you to better understand where it's going in the future as well. And then lastly, let's talk about the how, right? Like this is the good stuff that you guys came here for, in terms of how to actually leverage this for your business. We'll talk about a prompt, the tools, and then also action items so that you can really walk away with some actionable steps that you can implement right away for your business or your team if you want to have them to delegate the work on your behalf. So this is the slide that I'm just gonna put together one slide. I always love making it fun and make fun of myself sometimes. So I ask, there's an AI tool that I'm just like, people are using AI to make their brand photos. So I used it, and these are the photos that it came up with. It's just like, why is it that everyone else have these glam shots and somehow AI is picking on me? So I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I feel like it's gonna be something they'll blackmail me with later anyway. So I'll just put it out there myself. So also, I'm a total nerd, as you can tell. Like, I'm not the athletic type. I'm actually running a board game, business and board games later tonight at the Coven. So definitely, like, that's kind of my vibe. I was an FFA in high school too. So those are the kinds of stuff that I was not in sports. So my background's in computer science and MBA. I paired that up with being in corporate for over 12 years, really helping like small businesses, mid-sized companies, and also Fortune 500 companies. Nowadays, though, I focus on small business owners because I really do feel like we want to give you guys an edge, right? Like in terms of like all these understandings. Some of the companies and some of the organizations I've helped with, I've been leveraging AI, or before we call it AI, back in the day, it's really the automation, it's really the rules engine underneath all of that. So these are some of the things that I've helped with, again, in the companies in my career. So professionals, finance, banking, health, education, retail, e-commerce, this can really help in any of these areas, okay? So those are the kinds of stuff I wanted to share with you. So AI, automation, all that stuff can work in all of those industries. So let's talk about and jump right in to the good stuff in terms of why AI matters for you. Okay, so if you're here, you're a business owner, and you're just like, I want to learn Google and a little bit about like how it's gonna work in the new world. So Google really makes it a little easier for people to find you, right? Like we talked about, like 90% search happens from Google 90% of the time. So from that perspective, there's also there's so many statistics. I like to start with a number because I know that data drives decision, especially as business owners. So from that, I just wanted to kind of give you a few more facts in terms of the fact that AI overview, which I'll show you a screen print of that later, it's about 47%, so about half, it appears in Google search results. So instead of like wanting to rank as #1 on Google anymore, you're gonna not be at the top fold of Google because they're gonna have that like AI summarization on Google nowadays. And then also Google has made 4 changes in just 1 year. So definitely, like as they're evolving their own engine, we need to kind of leverage what we know and keep improving our skill set alongside of that. And then also in terms of the, I don't like to say competition, but there is really a lot of different people out there that are also trying to leverage Google. So the first person that ranks gets about 28% of all the clicks. So just all of these different things to keep in mind as you're leveraging tools like Google, because again, like technically it's free. So of course it's one thing that people want to leverage as well for their business. So the other side, AI, there's about 60% of searches that are now being done without clicking to sites because people are just seeing the information and they're just like, okay, thank you, goodbye. So if you're just like wanting them to click because you want to highlight your services as part of your article or have a call to action to book a call with you, people might not be seeing that anymore, right? So that's just going to continue to increase as people are just like attention span on like TikTok minute, right? So so those kinds of stuff to keep in mind as well. About 13 million search with AI in 23. and the prediction is about 90 million by 27. So those things just like blows it out of the water. So Google is probably shaking its in its little booty. So again, it's just like, how do we leverage this? And the one thing before I move on to the next few slides, and I just want to let you know that part of the reason that it's going to continue to increase is because Microsoft is actually one of the investors for OpenAI. I don't know if you guys know about this, but so Microsoft owns Bing, right? So it's like the competition of Google. And so it's just a matter of like being a little bit more Bingable nowadays is actually going to be a little bit helpful, because then you're also going to show up on Chat GPT and all these things, maybe now and or in the future. So again, like we can't predict what they're doing underneath all of these engines, but just in case, just creating a more robust keyword, all these things, which we'll dive into. And then the other last thing on this slide is the fact that don't just use ChatGPT or all these tools for just like increasing productivity or just like asking how to create a recipe or all of these things, right? Just because from a sales perspective, as business owners, that's always the goal. It's just like, how can we increase sales and online growth with tools like ChatGPT or all these things? That should really be the driving factor. So that would help with 25% increase. Like, what would you do with a 25% increase in your bottom line, right? So how would you reinvest it? How much would that help your business and your employees and your life in general, right? So just keep that in mind as well. So that is going to be helpful. So this is what I want you to keep in mind. Google really helps with three things: reach, relevance, and reputation, right? So that is the old adage that they have. And so I'm gonna have a little bit, I don't know if you guys know Futurama, but it's just like, I don't want this to just be a boring presentation, so bear with me here. This is the kind of stuff that I kind of sprinkle along the way. So the visibility problem is the old way of the fact that the reach is outdated a little bit, right? With SEO, the way that people are using it and stuff like that. So SEO still works. Don't get me wrong. So don't be like throwing out blogging and all of these things out the door. We'll talk a little bit about that. There's just a few nuances to keep in mind. The second thing is the fact that if you are leveraging ads, there's a few different things that are being changed from, again, the Google engines and meta engines and all of these things. We're going to focus on Google today. But same concept. They're all making changes. Meta, Pinterest ads, LinkedIn ads, all these different things. You have to make sure that, like the consistency of how you show up on all of these other platforms is also, you're being relevant in all of the areas that you're putting money towards your business. And then the last thing is, of course, your reputation, right? Like, how are you asking for reviews? Are you optimizing the reviews that come in when people do share that with you? And those are the three things that we'll dive in from a Google perspective. And then there's a few more things that we'll chat about from that perspective as well. Besides those three things that you need to keep in mind, there's also new tech updates, like we said, like MUM is the acronym that they said they'll come up with. So I'm just like, that's what made my mind triggered to like Futurama related stuff. So I don't know how my brain works sometimes, you guys. But so Google's MUM, which apparently stand for Multitask Unified Model. So I'm just like, okay, I don't know what that means. They came up with MUM. It can apparently analyze languages, content, formats, text, all these things. We'll talk a little bit about what that all means. And then they also now have the search generative experience. I don't know why they didn't come up with DAD or something else to go with their MUM, but SGE, Sage maybe is what they're going with. So now they provided AI generated responses. So that means that it really impacts like your earned traffic, right? So in terms of just like how the ads and all these things, it's not just the text that they're reading. They can now look at images and all these things. So just those kinds of stuff that they're really elevating their the way that their engine read data. And again, like if you guys have questions, if you guys want me to slow down a bit, let me know, because again, we're about to like dive in. It might be a little technical and stuff like that. If you have any questions, if you're just like, I don't even understand what the word multitask, unified something means, please let us know. And if you're watching this on a replay because you're just like, okay, like I need to watch this more than once, please let us know as well. We're happy to assist you. Okay, so let's keep going then. The good news, there is good news in all of these things, is the fact that we get to be more intentional. Instead of just like trying this and trying SEO and trying like asking for reviews, now we get to focus all of our efforts, right? Like we get to take a step back as business owners and be like, what is actually working? How do you actually leverage it? All of these amazing things that exist in the world. How can I actually be top of mind for my customers while all of my competition is trying the same old stuff? I have this superpower and this knowledge and this technology that is evolving, and I'm ready to evolve with it. Right. So that is the advantage for you, because again, like the AI tool is helpful and you're willing to lean in and leverage that for your business. So you're already step ahead of the competition. So I just wanted to say that for you, because you're doing a great job from that. So we want you to get people to be like, shut up and take my money, right? Like again, Futurama reference. So there's really three things that I want us to focus on. Instead of just SEO, which is search engine optimization, I've come up with the search revenue trifecta, right? Which is Googleability is just one of them. There's also the chat GPT ability. That's a mouthful. And also your omnipresence, meaning like we don't just want you to chat GPT at once and then like people say chat GPT is my bestie, but really all they are doing is like asking it and just like, okay, thanks. And then whenever they have a question, asking it again and like, okay, thanks. And instead of just like repurposing what it's giving you and then being able to use it over and over again. So we want you to really be able to be intentional with your all the work that you're doing. So those are the three focus areas. We'll talk a little bit more about the Google, and then we'll move into the omnipresence and also the chat GPT ability that we'll do as well. And again, I'll give you a prompt and also pretty much the task list that you can leverage for your business as well, and some tools. Okay, so this is the first one, SEO, right? Like that's the big part of this in terms of the fact that people nowadays, they're just like, oh my gosh, like I wrote all these blog articles. Are they now not going to help me with my business? So before we go any further, I just like to do a quick pulse check again, if that's all right. What feels like it represents your SEO right now? First one, if it feels like I'm not even doing anything, I'm just crossing my fingers and hope Google finds me. Or number two, if you have some understanding, but it feels like it's clear as your search history. Or three is SEO is as easy as ABC, and you're just looking to up level. So I'm seeing a lot of ones and a little bit of twos in the chat. So again, like this is something that we're all on different journeys and we're all here to learn together. So thank you so much for sharing. So again, like we are about to dive into some stuff. So I will definitely make sure to when I have some terms that's just like a little bit too technical, I'll do my best to slow down and explain that a little bit, because I am seeing some ones in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and keep diving in here. This is what I meant earlier. I said I had a screenshot for you in terms of Google now has an AI overview. So even if you're like the #1 ranking, you will see, I don't know if you can see my little mouse. You can see now that instead of the #1 rank is right up here, AI is gonna be the first part. And then if they have a sponsored ad, it's going to be this part right here. So now even if you're number one, you're not even going to be in the what I'm calling the top fold, right? So people have to scroll to find number one nowadays. So that is where even if you have really good SEO, it might not be the first thing that people click. Because remember, like the first thing people click gets like the 20 some percent. So just again, focusing on SEO is just one part of the equation, and we'll talk about that a little bit here. So Google, again, summarizes your answer. So if your business isn't really represented elsewhere, not just Google, it might not be able to feed Google the content that it needs. So again, being bingable, being all of these other things will be helpful as well. So here's some tips in terms of the SEO part. So again, I made this so that you guys can screen print this later after we're done talking about it. Or again, we'll send you the slides and all those things so you have everything else later as well. But for the time being, I'll kind of go through it step by step. So we'll do this together. So the top 5 ways from an SEO cheat sheet perspective. First one, and you again, like we're starting with the foundational stuff, right? So for the number ones out there, start with choosing and adding main keywords on each page that you have on your website that is public. Because I know for me, my back end for my websites is super messy. So meaning that I have pages that might be in draft mode or something like that, right? So focus first on the first page that people see right away when they land on it, and just have it like main keywords. And you can also use AI or ChatGPT to be like, this is my business. Give me like the 5 to 10 main relevant keywords. And there's tools. We'll have a tool section. I'll share some tools with you. But the fact that you need, the page title for each page, first 100 words of each page is important. Images also need to have an alternative tag, which I have a section for images, and the meta description. Meta description, what that means is that it's not what our eyeballs see, it's what the Google robots see behind the scenes. So it's the code underneath, because otherwise, again, like they scrape all that data. So you still need to have those description. It sounds very scary, but with the tools like AI, you could leverage them to be like, this is what my business is. Again, like you could say like, I'm a realtor that helps with luxury homes in Duluth. I'm looking to create this web page, and this is going to be a blog, or this is going to be my services page. Help me find the best keywords, or help me create the first 10 words that Google will find me, or help me find meta description, right? So with ChatGPT, you don't necessarily need to think too hard. Plus, please do edit it though. Don't just like take it, because otherwise you'll just be every other competition and then you won't rank either. So just keep that in mind. So that's the first part. The second part is, again, similar keywords. And now we're talking about like the SEO basics. The reason that I put this separately is because sometimes people have like 5 header 1s, 5 header 2s. So you need to have one clear topic per page, meaning that if you are talking about your services, don't just have a services and then you also have your a blog for, let's say, I'm trying to come up with a good example off the top of my head. Like if you have an article about why people should have a good roof, and also have an article about plumbing or gardening, all in one thing, it confuses the robots to figure out where to really put you and rank you. So just have one clear topic per page. So I'll answer these. This page will answer that question. So those kinds of stuff. And then header 1, header 2, again, like organize the content, because when you have too many headers, that's again like helping you rank those things. And then you can also link to other page, because now it's getting smarter to be like, okay, this keyword that they have on this page is relevant to the other page, and then it will kind of start to create that spider web behind the scenes on your behalf. And of course, always have a clear call to action. Okay, so and then the other thing is about images, which I kind of mentioned in the first one, but more importantly, it's just like naming things a little bit more clearly instead of just like image, 45 and stuff like that. And we talked about the alt tag. What that means is that it describes your images. Again, like it's helpful also for people that cannot see what the images are. And then there's also like people that might be, I don't know if they're necessarily like blind or hard of seeing, but what happens is that when they hover over it with a mouse or they have like a screen reader, it will actually read out loud what that image represents. And also AI search engines parse these data, or they scrape these data, they collect that information, and then they again are trying to create a robust kind of like what your website or what that web page is about. And then if you are doing this for a home page, again, just be clear on each section. So instead of just like having a block for your about section that then blends in with a link to your services, just make sure that you are putting a header that says about me and then services and all these things, because your header one should really indicate that this is your homepage. So it knows at least that this is the homepage for this, and then all the different links will then identify that they're going to see deeper with what information you're sharing. So typically a homepage shouldn't necessarily have all the information per se. So even if you're having an about me section on your homepage, it won't have like paragraphs and paragraphs of about me. We'll just have like the highlights. So that is how you really get the on-page optimization on that to help, because it's just like the highlight. If you want to get deeper, click this link and then it will help you to get them to the other stuff. There's two more here. The fourth one is local SEO. So for those of you guys that have local businesses, this is called NAP. So name, address, phone, so that you can take a nap and let SEO to work for you. So website, social media, Google business profile, and also all of the different directories. So I know there's like even alignable, if you guys are familiar with that, Yelp, Facebook, all these different places. So these really work for not just blogs for your website, but also the Google My Business, because again, they're scraping everything and then they're starting to make a formulate a kind of like what your business is about. And then the last thing is the fact that create consistent, fresh content. And again, AI is going to make it easier for you, right? So, and make it about the keywords, right? Like we talked about like 5 to 10 main keywords. And then you can always ask ChatGPT to be like, hey, like I'm looking for articles. A client just gave me a review. Can you help me create that? Add photos and videos where you can. And then if you don't have FAQs, add those as well. And then don't just like scream in your own silo, right? Like if you can, like even in this room, right? Like if you can partner up, if it's relevant to have collab articles or get on podcasts, all these different things, because that backlink, now other people are talking about you. Now you're being seen in other places. That's also going to be helpful, because then again, you're not just talking in your portion of the industry, it's going to continue to expand from there. So again, these are applicable for your website and Google My Business page and all those different things. So if you have any more questions, drop them in the chat. Hopefully this is what you're looking for. Take a screen print, we'll send you the link, and then we'll keep moving on as well. So this is the second thing, which is ads. And we'll just quickly go over this just in case you're running ads right now from a Google perspective. Because there's two changes I want to mention, because they're making changes again. So far, they might change it again. So hopefully this will still be relevant by the time you're watching this replay next week. So they're using this thing called PMax, which is it uses AI to create and place ads. across different platforms. Because if you didn't know, they own YouTube. They are now putting ads on Gmail. They if you're like using Maps on your phone, I get advertised with like little icons of like Starbucks or McDonald's, or I'm looking for cars. So now they're advertising car dealerships. It's just like, seriously, like, can I get a break? Like, my subconscious is so tired of getting fed all of these ads all the time. But that is what they're doing. They're now using all the things you're doing and then creating and placing ads everywhere you look that is Google related. There's also this other thing that they're doing called smart bidding. And I mean, they could have come up with a better name, but I mean, it's kind of cute. But it's like AI that matches your ads to user intent instead of exact phrases. What that means is that even if you come up with the perfect keywords, right? Like in terms of AI can help with keywords, but you do not have to have the exact, because they're going to take your keywords, they're going to take a look at the users that are searching for things, and then they're going to do a little bit of like a dating matching profile. So they're going to match your ads with your keywords with people that are with their search history, and then they're going to see which one will be relevant, which ones people are clicking, and all these things. So instead of you trying to perfect the keywords, start small, play around with it, test often, because I don't want you to be throwing money in there if you are leveraging ads. Personally, I would prefer you start organic, test your offers, make sure that it is something that, you know, your messaging, all these things are clear before you do leverage ads. But also make sure your profiles are optimized. Otherwise, you'll pay for more clicks before they convert. Here's a list of different things in a little bit of, I'm trying to like summarize this very intense subject in hopefully a little bit more digestible format, because there's so much, right? Like there's so much we can talk about. But really we talk a little bit about the PMAX. Like you need like high quality photos, assets. We talked about that in the last slide as well. AI can write your ads, like, but you also need to have strong input. So you can't just like have ChatGPT to do all the heavy lifting for you, because otherwise it'll be too generic. The keywords are getting broader. Like it's going to have your keywords paired with the users. So make sure your goals are clear so that it can target the right people for you. You can talk to AI to build your ads, but again, like AI can only do so much. So it's your responsibility to review it. And then the insights, they're going to continue to like tell you what to do and suggest things to you. So make sure that you start with a strategy and then monitor it. And then local visibility. If you have a local business, it's getting smarter, which is good. But also make sure that your Google My Business is active, it's updated, and that all of your data outside of just Google and your website is updated as well, like your social media. If you have Linktree and stuff like that, or on your Instagram, double check your Linktree links. You'd be surprised how many of my clients, I'm just like, did you know like your event from like 2 years ago is still on your Linktree? So definitely double check those kinds of stuff as well. The last part in terms of the Google stuff, and then we'll move on to a couple different things. Okay, so not optimizing your reviews. This is also the other thing, and I know I'm guilty of this too, so it's not just you. Because if your Google reviews or any other reviews, right, like there's Facebook reviews as well, if they don't mention specific benefits or keywords that you want, like for your services or your offers, it won't necessarily also show up in the AI generated searches, right? So you want to ask your clients, if you could, right, like in a legal way, that it will have more specific details in terms of just like, hey, like I know that I helped you with XYZ, and you got this amazing results. It would be really helpful for me if you'd be willing to help me with this, right? And again, I have a little script that I can share with you in a little bit here. But it's just a matter of like having that rapport with your client, and then having that really help you with your business to bring in more clients, just like the one that you help with. And then you can also have ChatGPT to kind of reply with certain keywords to reinforce your expertise. So replying to the reviews that are on your on Google, because if you're starting to get like hundreds of reviews, especially if you have like a restaurant or a day salon, or something that gets a lot of foot traffic, you might be getting a lot of reviews all the time. And so it might be helpful to have an AI tool that can help with the review reply on your behalf, right? And then also reply and engage, even the old ones. And this is something I need to go back to, because I know I have some old reviews that I need to reply to. So I just want you to feel seen, that it's not just you. And also share a few review writing tips when you're requesting them, because kind of like sometimes we get caught up in terms of, I don't know what to say either, right? Like we've had a good service with someone else, and then we want to give them a review, but we don't know what to say. So it's the same for you. Like put yourself in their shoes, and it's okay to ask, right? Like don't worry too much about like asking, especially if you provided the service that your clients are looking for. Okay, so those are all the Google stuff. We can take a breath for just a minute. And then we're going to move on a little bit in terms of the omnipresence and the chat GPT stuff. Okay. How are you guys feeling? You feeling okay? Can move on? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the getting your Google stuff that you are working really hard on, like the SEO, all the tips that we're talking about. And now we're going to expand that a little bit with you here today. Okay. Because asking for review, like we were talking about, is one thing. And then I want you to be able to leverage that. It's all about leverage here. It's about working smarter. And now we're going to be able to have you to create like an SEO blog post, put that on social media, right? Like, because the more that people see you in all of these different spaces, again, omnipresence, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, like she or he is everywhere. And then you're going to get more leads, and then those leads are going to turn to sales, and then the more sales, you ask for more reviews, and then it's just like going to create this ecosystem. So that's what we want for you, is to just really have less work, focus on delivering quality work, and then have your work to speak on your behalf, have your customers rave about you, and then you build your business presence from there. And then the Google review, even if they change it in terms of how it works in the future, you're still able to leverage it in different formats. So that's the way that you can do that, even if they change it. And also, again, we'll talk about tools. You can also automate this, because again, we want to make sales easy for you from that perspective and create that ecosystem. Okay. So that's all great and all, but how do we actually create this? And I just want to create like one super simple chat GPT prompt, because again, this is not a chat GPT type of a webinar. So just super easy prompt that I put together. This is all the chat GPT stuff you'll see from me today. If you want more, we can always talk about that. But really keeping it super simple, you really just ask your clients, like it's a conversation in terms of asking for a sale, asking for a review. You just ask them to be like, hey, like client, can I please have you to help me? Here's a few questions that you could help me with. And then you or with the help of ChatGPT, you could provide some insights in terms of just like this, what was going on before. And I remember this is what was happening in your business before we worked together. And then this is what we did together as part of our engagement. And then I believe this is what changed afterwards, right? Like you can help feed that. And so that it will help your client to think about what to say. And then again, once they provide that, you can ask ChatGPT to create that into like a blog post. You can create it into first person so that you can have it either from you and or from your client, so that it's creating a story format. It's not just like this one paragraph now, it's creating a more robust. And then you can also then repurpose it to take it one step further and ask it to repurpose it for you. So I will drop this in the chat so you can just copy paste it for later. So there's that one. And so this is really something keeping it super simple because again, we don't need to overcomplicate things even with tools that we have nowadays. And then the other thing too is the fact that I want you to really just take action, right? Like this is just starting small, and then scale from there. Because again, ask one client, if you could just ask one client, or if you haven't had a client recently or, yet, ask, like find a case study. And, like there's different ways to really do this and also like reply to those kinds of stuff, right? So use ChatGPT, turn it into a blog post, like we were talking about. And then also like the top 5 ways that we shared earlier, update part of your website with AI support. So start with this, right? Like pick one, right? Like you don't even have to do all 3. And then when you're done with this, I do also have a checklist, which I'll share, and then we'll talk about tools. So this is the checklist. Like if you're just like, okay, I did all 3, I did all 3 multiple times, I'm ready for the more advanced stuff. So you can take a look. If you have your phone, you can grab the QR code. There's like no opt-in whatsoever. You just create your own copy of this spreadsheet right into your Google Drive. And then you can either do it yourself, you can share it with your team. And so there's different things that you can leverage from this perspective as well. So if you have any questions along the way in terms of what you could do, definitely reach out to me or Jenny or anyone else in the SBDC team, and definitely going to get some support in this as well. Because this should be what you need in terms of like which task, and then pick and choose the easy ones or how long of a time you have. I'm sure it's going to take a little bit more time than that, especially if you're just doing it for the first time, but I did provide some prompts here for you to help with that as well. So there's all those things for you. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the tools are for you as well. Okay, so tools. This is my favorite part, to be honest. I love tools. So as far as tools go, I'm going to summarize it from what we talked about at the beginning, which is the Google stuff: reach, relevance, reputation. So with the help of AI tools, we can really help you with the AI, with the Google presence. So that's what we're going to explore. Okay. So besides ChatGPT, because everyone talks about ChatGPT, so we're going to talk about like the different tools that AI can help with, and also some of them may not be AI, but there are AI components that help support that. Okay, so reach and relevance in terms of your SEO and also your omnipresence. The first one, definitely, it's Google related. So check out the search console. You can just Google it because it should be one of the first that come up. It's going to help you with the Google search, right? You're going to be able to see what content needs to be optimized, what people are searching for, all these things. So definitely start with that because again, it's a Google product. They know what they need. They know what people are searching for. So that's the first one. Second one is called GMB Everywhere, which means Google Everywhere, Google My Business Everywhere. It's a Chrome extension. I did see like there's so many different extensions out there. This is just one of the many ones. So if you have a local business and you're looking for local SEO, it just looks like it got some good reviews. So I'm just like, which tools would be most helpful for different types of businesses out there? So this is one thing that you can take a look at for when you're reviewing your SEO as a local business owner. This is the one that I use because again, like this is a free Chrome extension as well. And this is for SEO. It's called SEO Pilot, and it can analyze like all the different things. And then it can also, there's also an AI writer component to it, and all those different things. So it just really just, you can open it up and then it can provide all these information, which is super cool as well. The last one for this section is this tool called Ahref, and these are all the free, it's a paid tool, but they also have free stuff in there. These are all the free stuff that you can find on their website at this time, which is like SEO writing stuff and social media stuff. There's like a whole bunch. These are the ones that are relevant to our conversation. So again, like instead of ChatGPT, if you're just like, well, ChatGPT is great, but it's like a blank canvas. I don't even know where to start. These kinds of tools make it easy to be like, well, I really need help with like a blog. So these tools are kind of tweaked already to help you with those kinds of ideas. And then this is in terms of your reputation, which is the reviews. So I have a couple tools that I leverage, and there's tools similar to this. One of them allows you to have your AI assistant to, again, have your business, have you to request reviews already on your behalf. And then on the other flip end, in terms of just like when people are replying to you, you can now respond automatically. So there's tools out there. So these are things that are already pre-built to the CRM that I use. And again, like take a look at, because there's other tools out there that could help leverage this as well. So as we wrap up, again, I want to make sure that whether you just like, okay, I'm going to delegate everything because that's a lot of tasks that you shared with us for the task list, or if you're going to bring in interns, or if you're just going to do it yourself and have AI do it, you are responsible for the quality check. Okay. And also, again, I finally found an image that is brand worthy. So I just wanted to share that also. And also to wrap things out, I know I shared a lot, but I want to know what was the most valuable tip or aha moment that you got that you're most excited to walk away with your Google presence. Do share that in the chat with us so we can have a conversation. If you have any questions also that we haven't answered yet, please do share that in the chat as well. With that said, this is at the end of the conversation. So if you have anything you'd like to connect, I am on all of the platforms at Passion Breakthrough is my company name. Here is the QR code again for that AI task list. And then the QR code for us to connect, or you can find me at passionbreakthrough.com. And I will go ahead and turn it over to Jenny. And I'm seeing some things that says it's all Greek to me. And hopefully this is less Greek, and hopefully we gave you a Google Translator today.
Yeah, thank you, Diane, for all that information. I know it can seem like a lot for some people. Again, that's one of the services that Northland SBDC can also help with is we have experts in marketing. So if it's not something you've worked with us in the past on, feel free to sign up for services if you want to explore marketing further with one of our subject matter experts on that. But thank you everyone for joining us today. If you have any questions, we'll leave the room open a little bit longer to answer those. Just drop them in the chat. And just a reminder that there will be a survey link that pops up on your screen after you close this webinar. So we would appreciate any input you have by completing that brief survey. We'll also be sending out a link to access this recorded session later this week, including additional information and the copy of the slides. And also a quick reminder of the AI trainings coming up in June. Again, the in-person AI conference on June 17th in Carlton. And then we also have our 5th and final AI webinar in our webinar series happening on June 20th at 10 a.m. So more information on both of these are on our website, northlandsbdc.org, on our trainings calendar. And I did have one quick question for you, Diane. When it comes to, I know you shared those tools that are also great, the Google Search Console, GMB Audit, SEO Pilot, that can really help businesses understand how they're already performing. Is there anything further as far as even just on does their Google profile, business profile help give some data as far as performance, or I guess, would you recommend using those tools just to test out things as they go?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So let me go back to that slide for a second here. The SEO cheat sheet right here. So these are applicable for both your website and your Google My Business page. So if you don't already have a Google My Business page, I recommend you need to have a location for you to get a Google My Business. I personally just use a PO box. Sometimes your PO box would allow you. So what I did was I'm in Maple Grove, so I just put like the actual address of my PO box and then a suite number, and then use my PO box as my suite number. So that's what I did for myself. Not sure if that's what you're supposed to do, but I was able to get a Google Google My Business information from that. So this information will help you to stay relevant from a Google perspective as well. And again, like post consistent and fresh content. So for example, if you can have your clients to review you, or if you have any promotions, if you have any events, if you are open or close a certain day. So as much as you're updating that, it's just letting Google know that you are open, that you are open for business, I guess, for to kind of keep the answer short a little bit. Is that helpful, Jenny?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good.
All right, looks like we have another question from Deb, just asking about Google requires pictures of your business. How do you do that? The business is strictly online.
Yeah, so for me again, like I mostly have an online business also. So I just leveraged the PO box, and then so I was able to. I don't know if you mean like the picture of my business location. I just typed in like for me the address for for my mailbox is like 13500 Grove Drive, and then suite number for my PO box is like 13 something. So suite number 13, and then that was the picture that they got, was like the um picture of my the actual post office. Don says, yeah, external picture. Oh, okay. I Yeah, so I guess that might not be relevant anymore, which I guess that's bad. That's good for us. So they're not asking for that anymore. I hear some people say, and again, this is not my experience. I hear some people say that if you have a co-working space, that could work also. So I'm not sure it, because I have a co-working space, but it's not a dedicated desk. So, or an office space. So I'm not sure if talk with your co-working space if you have one, and see if that might also be helpful in terms of a location. If you're not okay with people finding your address. I also heard someone say that even if you use your personal address, you can mark it as private. But personally, because I have an IT background, I don't trust my private address to get out there because Google might change their rules in the future. So again, I'm very risk averse. So, but apparently you can add your personal address on there. But again, these are things I hear from my friends that are also in the online side of the business. Any other questions? I'm going to move back to the slide that we had for the SBDC here, and let us know if what other questions you have our brains today. So if you have any questions, if you have any insights that you are wanting to share with the group, we'd love to hear about them also. It's hard to tell sometimes, Jenny, when people are typing because it's hard to type.
Yep. Yeah, I see that comment from Don about that SEO cheat sheet slide that you had too. That, yeah, it's been
Yeah,
helpful.
it's so there's the cheat sheet, and then let me actually go back to this other slide. Oh, great. So yeah, so if you need me, let me go back to that. So Don is talking about this one right here. So if you need, again, like especially for those watching the replay, so this is the slide that you may want to take a screenshot also. And then there's also this one right here in terms of the task list that has all of the different things that you could do. So this one is a spreadsheet, so you can definitely grab your copy if you'd like. And then I will drop the link to get that in the chat again, just so you have it. And then Deb says, have you experience with Meta Verified for Business page? So that's a little bit different. So we're talking about Meta versus Google now. So it's a little bit outside of our topic today, but let me answer that briefly. So Meta verification is different. And personally, my opinion is that I think it's just a money maker for them. I did meta verification when it first came out. And honestly, I did not necessarily get anything out of it. They say that it's supposed to help keep your stuff more secure. But I also have, again, like I have, so I started my business globally, and then now I'm more focused locally. So a lot of my friends outside of the US even have had this because they have a much larger audience. A couple of them got hacked, I guess, or like they got shut down pretty much. But what you get with meta verification is the fact that you're supposed to get like access directly to their support, but they still are not necessarily weren't necessarily getting that. So just different things like that, that what they say you get versus what they're actually providing you. And that's just the Facebook part. There's also the Instagram part, which is a separate fee. And Instagram has tiers, and it gets really expensive really fast for the verification. So again, like do if you feel like it's worth it, just do some deeper analysis and see where is your money best spent. If you feel it's good for your business, if you feel like it's good to have that blue verification tag and it feels like it's giving you more credibility, there's some advantages to that as well. Again, there's always pros and cons to everything. So those are just some things that I want to talk about. We can talk about it a little bit more too, Deb, if you want, if you have more questions on that as well.
All right. Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording of this webinar.